It took me 20 years to learn these lessons. Lessons that could have saved me a ton of time, stress, and frustrations. Now, these aren't just lessons, but these are truths that I had to stumble my way through. And actually, if I'm being honest, I haven't yet mastered these either yet. But I'm sharing these with you because I wish somebody would have shared these with me a long time ago. And maybe, just maybe, by me sharing these with you, you won't have to wait as long as I did to come to these realizations. I think that maybe they'll allow you to move through life a little bit more graciously, with a little bit more clarity and a little bit more courage. These are in no particular order, but let's go ahead and get into these. Number one is don't give up your time for a minimal return. If it doesn't make sense for you guys, then don't do it because it's not worth it. This not only applies to your personal life, but also your professional life. What I've learned over the years is that it's okay to say no. There's absolutely nothing wrong with saying no if it's something that you can't take on at the moment, or that's just going to eat up time that you don't have, or take you away from other important things that you have going on in your life. Maybe hanging out with your family, or just taking care of any personal issues that you have going on. Now, I'm not saying don't say no all the time. You have to understand when it makes sense for you to be able to either take on that said task or help somebody, whatever the case may be. But it is important for you to understand when and where you can say, no, I can't do it, or I don't have time, or maybe, push it out to another day or whatever. The second one is learn to take constructive criticism. And if I'm being honest, this definitely is one for me that I struggle with from a personal perspective, maybe not so much from a professional perspective, but personally, constructive criticism has historically been difficult for me. But I have come to the realization that when I am given that constructive criticism, it's for the best. It's not so that people can call me out on something that I might have done incorrectly, or it's not that it's bashing my idea for whatever the case may be, but it's just purely constructive criticism on how I can potentially improve that idea or that way of doing or that way of thinking. So instead of getting defensive about the criticism that you're receiving, take it into account and see how you can better improve yourself or whatever that task or that mentality, and see how you can improve that for future. That kind of leads me into the third point. Listen to understand, not to respond. I'm definitely guilty of this, but when you are having a conversation or maybe a disagreement, I think a lot of folks probably tend to listen to just basically respond or retaliate or take it defensively, when really you should be listening. You should be listening to understand what they're trying to tell you, to take in that other perspective and see if it can potentially improve the situation or the scenario at hand. I think that this is one of those lessons that you have to actively think about when this is happening. It may be difficult to think about it in the moment because it might be in the heat of the moment and you may be feeling a certain way about what this individual has said to you, but it is important to listen to understand versus listening to respond. The fourth point is it's okay to admit when you're wrong. I think a lot of us, well, at least for me, definitely, it is sometimes difficult for me to admit that, hey, I'm wrong, or hey, I messed up. When I used to get very defensive when people would call me out on something or I would make an excuse. So I think that also comes into play where you need to take accountability for your actions or for what you said. And like I said, it's okay for you to admit that you're wrong. Maybe look into that scenario, figure out where you're wrong, what went wrong, and how you can improve going forward so that you don't make that mistake again. Number 5 is change is hard, but it's necessary. I am a creature of habit, and I believe that many of you may or may not be creatures of habit. So you're comfortable with your day-to-day routine, or you're comfortable with the way that you do things, but inevitably sometimes if you're doing something and it doesn't pan out the way that you want it to pan out, you need to make a change. And sometimes that change is difficult. It could be very small. It could be just something very small from a day-to-day task. Or even more increasingly difficult is when you need to realize, like, okay, Maybe you're in a job that you absolutely hate, or a job where you just don't see yourself moving up for whatever reason, whether it just be the company's just not willing to move people up, there's a hiring freeze, whatever the case may be. There's a million scenarios out there, or just simply the company doesn't appreciate the work that you're doing for them, or they overlook you. Then at that point, you need to come to the realization that it's probably time for a change. And though it may be difficult and you may be comfortable and you might think, hey, I'm getting a paycheck, it's a consistent paycheck, what am I going to do if I lose this job or if I decide to quit or move on? But when you have to come to that realization and maybe take a look at the pros versus the cons and realize that maybe it is time for a change, and you'll also likely see yourself improving or evolving. So change is necessary because it is proof that you're evolving, and we should all strive to evolve or become a better person or become a better version of ourselves, not just for your sake, but also for your family's sake. So I think change is necessary. It is important, but it is difficult. Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video. A couple things I want to talk to you guys about though. First one being that I was checking my analytics this morning and I saw that 92% of the people that watch my channel, they're not subscribed. That's 92%. I mean, I get it. We have commitment issues. But come on, guys. I'm totally kidding. But seriously, thank you for being here and watching my content. It does mean a lot to me, more than you know. But if you can do me a huge favor and consider subscribing, man, that would be awesome. So I'm gonna leave it at that. The second thing I want to talk to you about is that I've always been somebody that's been into fitness, doing some sort of workout. As you can see, I'm on my walk right now. And if you're somebody that's looking to get into or looking to start working out and maybe don't have a lot of equipment, well, I'm here to tell you, you don't need all the bells and whistles. All you really need is your body weight, maybe a set of kettlebells, maybe a set of dumbbells, and you don't need a lot of room either. Over my 15 plus years of being active, and then me also being a former personal trainer and a former level 2 CrossFit coach, I have a little bit of experience in programming workouts. I compiled like a list of like 20 workouts that I do when I'm really short on time and I need to get in something really quick. They can range anywhere from like 12 to 20 minutes, super quick. I'm giving those away as a little bit of a token saying, hey, thank you guys so much for being here and watching my stuff. So if you guys want those, they're down in the description below. Feel free to grab them. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say, guys. Again, sorry for the interruption. Let's go ahead and get back into the video. Number 6 is you're not going to change other people's beliefs. So have you ever had an argument or a discussion with somebody or a debate, and you're trying to get your point across and they're trying to get their point across, and you guys just don't seem to be going anywhere, and it ends up being, well, let's agree to disagree. That's probably best case scenario, I would assume, versus you just telling them that they're wrong and they're telling you that they're wrong. I mean, ultimately, it's very, very difficult to change people's beliefs. It's not going to happen. You're not going to do it. I haven't been successful in doing that in the past. All you can do is offer your perspective, and then they can offer their perspective, and maybe you guys can come to some sort of agreement. But changing people's beliefs is extremely difficult. I wouldn't advise trying, because you're just going to be spinning your wheels. Number 7, rest and reflection are absolutely necessary for your mental well-being, for your physical well-being. I know that in today's world, it's crazy. We are always on the move, go, 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 especially here in the United States, where the work tempo is just very, very high. Or even as an entrepreneur, even more so, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you have a million things going on in your mind about things that you need to get done. I need to do this, I need to do that, and there's just not enough time in the day. But it is important to at least take a day every once in a while to kind of just sit down, relax, enjoy the things that you like to do, enjoy time with your friends, enjoy time with your family, because ultimately, if we're just working all the time, we're just going to get burnt out. So rest and recovery is absolutely necessary for your mental well-being, your physical well-being. If you're not taking that time to rest, then what are we doing? We're just going to work ourselves to death. And I think many of you probably realize that if you overwork or you get burnt out, that work is not going to be your best work, versus you being fully recharged, fully rested, and ready to go and hit the next stage of whatever your project is or whatever your business or your work. Number 8 is perfection is just another word for procrastination. I'll use this example of me starting this YouTube channel. For 2 years, I did a lot of research on what type of equipment I need to use, camera, lighting, etc., video editing skills, what's the best platforms, etc., etc. I spent 2 years debating on how the best way to make a video, when in reality, and I first released my first video, it was actually pretty bad. It's not the greatest, and no matter how much research I did, you are not going to get it right the first time. The only way that you are going to get things right is by actually doing them. And that takes reps. And so if you think you're going to be perfect, or if you're looking for that perfection, what I realized is that I was actually just procrastinating. Mostly fear and the lack of experience and the lack of knowledge of putting myself out onto the internet for people to see me. So that's why I say perfection is another word for procrastination, which leads me into point number 9. Action far outweighs motivation. So you may be motivated, or you may see a video, or you even maybe see this video that motivates you for a short while. And motivation is good. It's not a bad thing, but it's only going to take you so far. What really is going to take you to the next level is action. Even when you don't feel like doing something, or when maybe you're doing this thing and you're just not seeing the results that you want. It could be anything. It could be exercising. It could be YouTube, whatever the case may be. If you're not seeing the results, we tend to kind of just give up. And I think taking action no matter what, showing up for yourself consistently, or showing up for that task consistently, is eventually going to get you over that hump, and eventually you're going to see the fruits of your labor. And so that's why I say motivation is temporary, but when you decide to take action, no matter what, that's when you're going to see real progress. And the last lesson that I had to learn is that faith is very important. At least for me, it is. I think finding my faith, getting right with God, has helped me with all the other lessons on this list, and finally came to that realization. And I feel lighter in regards to my energy. I don't feel myself getting angry as much like I used to over just the littlest things. Would just bug me, would just bother me. And I think finding that relationship with God for me has been a tremendous help with all the rest, with my family, with my job, with this, having the confidence to continue to move forward, and knowing that if I let God just take the wheel, He's not going to lead me in the wrong direction. I'm very excited to see what that does for me personally, professionally, in every aspect of my life. I'm not necessarily asking for specific things, but more so just generally just improving my relationship with God, getting to know Him, and being able to just follow in His footsteps, follow in His path, allowing Him to guide me in my journey through life. Because I'll tell you, over the last 50-something days, as I've been reading the Bible every day, has been incredibly sobering for me. It's been emotional. It's been a wake-up call. And if I'm being honest, I knew for a long time that I would eventually get to this place where I would find my faith and find God. I don't know what I was waiting for or why I was holding back, but I finally decided to just do it. And so far, it's been the greatest experience of my life. Sure, my family and my wife and my kids, all of that is great, but finding this relationship with God has been nothing short of exceptional. This may not be a popular opinion, but it's definitely, for me, it's helped me open my eyes, and it's helped me become a more kinder, gentler person. And I hope that if I inspire any one of you to do the same, find that relationship with God, I pray that it goes well for you. So yeah, guys, that's really all I had to talk about, was those 10 lessons that I wish I would have realized a lot earlier in life. They've absolutely helped me tremendously, and I hope that if at the very least, you guys can realize that how important those things are. It will make your life a little bit less stressful, a little bit less frustrated, and put you on the right path for whatever's right for you. With that, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you guys so much for staying if you're here for this long. Let me know which lesson stood out the most for you. I'd love to hear your feedback in the comments. And as always, guys, I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.